Yo, greetings and welcome to the 1/6 Scale Man probably presents The Naked Truth. Now, you'll probably be seeing a few of these episodes here every now and then, probably maybe once or twice a month with my bro, my mellow, butt naked assassin himself, Brendan Reilly. We decided to basically take out, he's sipping this nice dope ale. And then you have to have a pint too, bro.
Fan Expo Boston, baby. Fan Expo Boston.
I knew he was gonna plant that seed. Hey, how's everybody doing out there? Welcome, man. You know, a few people we actually have here. We might probably have a few more actually come in a little bit later. But we decided to have like an impromptu discussion about the state of the DC universe, actually with the DC Discovery or Warner Brothers Discovery merger. Everything that's happening, you know, it has happened within the last week. Interesting discussion, you know, to say the least. It's, you know, listen, you know, there's opinions flying around everywhere. Everybody basically has their opinions on, you know, the decision by Zaslav, the introduction of Alan Horn's, you know, consultant as a consultant, you know, just kind of coming in and helping to right the wrongs. Now, they did basically have their investors meeting yesterday, and a lot came out of it. Mainly that we know within the past week, they have scrapped a few IPs. One was a $90 million IP in the form of Batgirl. Now, I want to say this, and I'll just pose it this way, bro. And we'll jump in it after I address the chat here in a little bit. There's rhyme and reason to this. You know what I mean? Like, there is a positive that comes out of this, and people have to really understand, especially for what most DC fans, even such as myself, have wanted for the longest time. And we just got to kind of take our time and let this thing unfold and play out. And I think people will be impressed. And I think Zaslav himself is trying to come in and back clean up for everything that actually has happened within, you know, the DC universe, you know, within the past few years. So just let it play out, and I guarantee you we'll get back to the normal, what we need and what we want to be. But first off, before we actually can continue, I just want to address the chat real quick. We got Renz Talentino in here. We got Collector Zone Marcos in here. What's up, guy? We got AJ Agrusa, William Owens, Feezy Figs. We have The Empire Strikes Again. Windman 42, Raylo Binks. We have Kate Carter in the building, Feezy Figs, William Owens, an Insane One. So we, you know, have a few people actually coming in here, man. So it's going to be a few people leaning in. But yeah, Brendan, first of all, man, how you doing this afternoon, bro?
Good, man. I'm awake, which is something. I had a 10-hour shoot yesterday. I didn't get home until like 10 or 11 o'clock last night. So so I was dragging ass a bit, but I'm alive. I'm getting good now.
Yeah. I think it's been that way for, you know, pretty much a lot of us, man, because I'm feeling it. I was actually trying to stay up.
Yeah.
I prepped to watch and, you know, watch what was it? Pray.
Yeah.
But
When I called you last night. Yeah. So I gotta watch that today because I didn't get a chance to yesterday.
Didn't get a chance to finish it.
Well, I got home and I was like, I was thinking maybe when I got home I'd watch it, and when I got home I was like, oh hell no.
Yeah,
I couldn't. My eyes were just like were closing on me. I couldn't.
Well, I didn't get a chance because we definitely had to, I forgot that we had to do that live stream last night with Robert Meyer Burnett. We do the Midnight Musing on Friday night.
That's right. Yeah. It was last
night.
Yeah,
so I couldn't do it. Like I had to, you know what I mean?
I've heard nothing but good things about the movie. So
yeah.
It's obviously not going to eclipse the original, but it's like the best since the original. So I'm looking forward to watching it. Yeah.
So basically what I want to do is kind of go back and watch it when I get a chance. But I've heard nothing but great reviews and everything from it. Yeah. So I'm definitely excited about it, excited about watching it and finishing from where I was, you know what I mean? Anyway, because the beginning was crazy. It was bonkers. It was everything that I actually wanted. So I was definitely happy about that. So I can't wait to finish it. Anyway, everybody welcome here. And as we said, as you know, I said at the very beginning, this is going to be an impromptu discussion about the current state of the DC universe, where it is right now. We got Figurassic Park in here. So here's the thing, and this is what we're going to talk about. Like, this is basically what we want to actually talk about. Listen, you know, Zaslav comes in. He inherits a mess, a shitstorm dumpster fire of what was actually happening over in the DC universe. You had you know, we were looking at eventually Wonder Twins, you know what I mean? A Wonder Twins movie, bro. That kind of diverted completely away from oh, does my mic sound a little off? What is it? It's a little bit low. People say
no, I think you're I think you might actually be I think we might be hearing you through your computer microphone.
Oh, really? All right, let's see. Let's fix that because this mic wants to act like a stupid idiot sometimes. So we'll let's go in and take a look. Yeah, that's what it did. Thanks everybody out there.
See, this is why I keep y'all guys around.
There you go.
I sound better now. You guys, thank you very much, man. Everything's better. Thank you very much for that. Was that dangerous? What is that? Dangeransis? Well, I can't. Or dagger? Is that dagger?
Daggeransis.
Daggeransis, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you very much, man. Looking out now sounds better. Smooth. Thank you, CT603. But yeah, so the axe of Zaslav came down, sliced a couple of IPs, such as that Wonder Twins film.
Which I mean, nobody was losing sleep over that.
Nobody definitely was losing sleep over it. You know what I mean? Again, we're seeing Flash entering its last season, season 9 to be its last season. So it was a good run. You know what I mean? Not every season was good, but he had a good run. And I think, you know, even Grant Gustin himself knows that. You know what I mean? Look, the run.
He said he didn't expect to get to play the character for that long, and they like Legends of Tomorrow, but Legends of Tomorrow, which I actually enjoyed. I think it found its groove as like the quirky show on the CW and stuff. But that one was on the bubble, potentially being canceled literally every season since its first season. So the fact that lasted as long as it did, like I don't think there's any. I don't really have any issues with the decisions they made on the television, like CW side of things.
Yeah. And that's the thing, bro. Like, I mean, I don't, in my opinion, I really don't think, I think it was a good thing because, like I said, Manny, it was an amazing run, you know, that we got from it. You know what I mean? I mean, not too many, you know, other company or IPs can say that they've lasted that long. You
can't complain about 9 seasons of a show.
Oh no,
like we complain about like 2 or 3. You can't complain about 9.
Nah, you definitely can't complain about 9. So great run there. But I think the biggest of them all, the biggest, I guess, one of the biggest things that actually happened this week is the simple fact that they axed a $9 million film
90.
in the form $90 million. I'm sorry, not 9, $90 million. It was
only supposed
film.
To be 70, but it ballooned because of reshoots and stuff like that. It went to 90, and some people said it even went over 100. And then you had the marketing budget on top of that, so it was looking at close to 200 mil.
And close to $200 million. And this is basically after reshoots, which the reshoots were done. Like the reshoots were done. Like they already, you know, said confirmed that they were actually done already. But a $90 million investment in that particular film scrapped because of the simple fact that they felt as though it wasn't up to par. Now, a lot of people will basically have their opinions about it. Like, yo, why would you invest $90 million in a film and then basically scrap it? We didn't get a chance to see it. How can you basically determine that? Well, I think we're glad that we didn't get a chance to see it. You know, especially if it was as bad as they say it was, and if it was irredeemable, you know what I mean? If it was one of those situations where, you know what I mean, like, it just couldn't be salvaged. Now, listen, again, I love Leslie Grace. And I think that basically I love Leslie Grace. I've loved her in the Heights.
I would love if they kept her in the role in future content.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope that they basically do. I hope that they actually keep her you know, in that role, and you know, at least they say, look, you know, we want to scrap this you know, iteration of it, but we want to actually bring you back to, you know, maybe come back and, you know, fulfill that role and redo it, you know, and do something different. But we know that they decided themselves that it just wasn't where it needed to be, so they scrapped it. You know what I mean? Leslie Grace herself did put out a comment on social media about the situation, and she seemed to be in good spirits, saying, look, thanks for the support. At the end of the day, she got paid, bro. She got paid. She got her money. So, I mean, that's what it is. But the pushback is, all right, again, we're seeing a lot of these IPs. People are like, okay, if they can do it to this particular film, then it's a possibility that they can do it to the Flash. No, no, no. The Flash, they've already come out and said that is going to go. They're going to still actually run that film. A lot of people who have actually seen it, including the investors, including directors, people that were involved, people that weren't involved, who've seen it, said it's amazing and it's worth being released in theaters. Now we know that's actually a year out now, almost, and by then, the whole story about Ezra Miller and everything that he's actually doing right now would have sort of like, because I even think like half the people out there right now don't know shit about what's going on with Ezra Miller, to be quite honest, because it hasn't been out there in the news really, really seriously to really push that button on it.
I mean, it has a little bit. Your general audiences won't know much, or they'll just know like a cursory kind of info, and they'll just kind of chalk it up to like Hollywood actors, being rich and dumb and doing stupid stuff, and it's nothing new. But your hardcore comic fans, collectors, stuff like that, those are the people who are going to be more in tune with that and know more of it. But they don't make up all of the the paying audience that's going to go see that movie.
Yeah.
So, and to be perfectly honest, most will still go see it anyway, even with that knowledge. So I never thought that they were going to scrap that movie. To be honest, I would almost say like push that film out sooner, before his situation or their situation gets worse. Like what else comes out? Because it's like every time they think, okay, we're past like the worst of it, then something else happens. So I would almost say like get that movie out fast, and then you can also put out a statement saying, look, we don't condone what's been going on with Ezra Miller, and they're no longer going to be the Flash after this. But that way you're not holding up your entire film slate for and the direction that the DCEU is going to go in, because it all hinges on whatever happens with this movie. So I wonder if waiting until July 2023 is a good move, or if that's going to bite them in the ass.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, and your humble opinion about everything that we know.
He said humble.
Exactly. Everything that we basically know about now listen, I preface this by saying this. Like, if you're inheriting an IP, like you're and the thing is, it's like we know, like, number one, we can't compare, and we have done this in the past, where there's always been a comparison between DC and Marvel. We know that. Well, Marvel's doing this, and they're so successful at this. Why is DC doing this? Why is this happening within DC? We have Kevin Feige, who is passionate about, Marvel, passionate about, he's a geek in his own right. He just basically loves this thing. He's been doing, he produced what, 12, 14 films
14 before the MCU.
Before the MCU. So we know that this man has worked his ass off to get the MCU where it is right now. Okay?
And he made mistakes, but like he learned from it. He knew, okay, this is what worked, this is what didn't work. This is how I can fix what was broken before. And took that into if he didn't work on movies like Ghost Rider and and stuff like that, or even back in the day like Superman with Richard Donner, he wouldn't have been able to shepherd the MCU the way he has now.
Like definitely would not have. And that's my point. You know what I mean? So we know that it was a work in progress. Now we look at DC in the state of how it was actually run in the past, how, things were, before the merger, before basically, like I said, they sold the rights off to, Discovery. We look at basically how things were as far as, No Man is Still 2, the whole fiasco about, the Justice League, Batman versus Superman, having these characters like this trinity of characters that you did absolutely nothing with. You tried, but failed horribly.
Barely tried.
Barely tried. But now it's in the hands of someone who seems to be really, really passionate about righting that wrong, righting the ship. What do you feel about the decisions that have been made thus far right now by Zaslav? What do you think?
I'm like 90% positive on it, to be honest. I have concerns, but it's less to do. Well, it's motivated by the film side, but it's more on the comic book side, which we'll get into. On the film side, when you inherit a steaming pile of shit like he did, like you got to come in and you got to decide, well, am I going to live with that shit, or are we going to say no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to, continue on with what was done before until that's all out the door, and then we'll start something new, or we're going to start something new right now. Here's the thing. I've been accused online so far of both bashing and supporting this Batgirl movie. I have literally done neither because I haven't seen it. I don't know if it was good. I don't know if it was bad. All right. If I had to put money on it, I'd say it was probably bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Because let's remember, I mean, they put Catwoman out in the theaters. If you can put that out and then something else is so bad that you're not willing to put that out, but Catwoman went out back in, then I feel like it was probably pretty bad. Yeah. Now, I still love Leslie Grace. I still think she was great casting. I was a little skeptical on the directors that they chose. While they did a good job with Bad Boys for Life, I didn't know how they would handle a Batgirl story. People were criticizing the suit looked cheap. It was accurate to the comics. It really, really was. And that's not to say that she wouldn't have gotten an upgrade. I mean, 9 out of 10 for superhero movies, they get an upgraded suit at some point before the end of the film. So, the thing is, I was a little, it sucks because we don't ever get to see what they worked hard on, whether it was good or bad, and get to decide for ourselves. At the same time, I feel like a lot of the people who were criticizing Warner Brothers and for not putting this movie out would have shit all over it if they had put it out and they saw it this is fucking horrible. How could you make this? You can't have your cake and eat it too. But I do, I think that in the end, and people are questioning whether the tax write-off is legit or that's a smoke screen. No, the tax write-off is real. You can look it up in the tax code. It is real. Okay. The thing is, they are not allowed to monetize this film. As long as they don't monetize this film, meaning you can't put it out on theatrical or on streaming or sell it to another studio or platform to do it, to put it up. If you do not monetize it because it was on the books pre-merger, then because you're technically a new company now as Warner Brothers Discovery, you can offset that as that was the previous company's losses and we don't have to eat that. That is real. Okay. Whether people want to believe it or not, it's on the tax code. It is real. It has never been done on a movie that cost this much to make before. So that is where, this is unprecedented as far as the amount of money put into this movie that they're willing to write off. But remember, Zaslav comes in, he's like, why are we making premium high budget movies for streaming? You make that and then, okay, you put it on streaming. You're not getting many money in. It's because I love the character of Batgirl, but Batgirl is not bringing people on to subscribe to HBO Max. It's just not, right? Things that will bring subscribers in, what Disney Plus, has, because you've got these shows that you're releasing an episode a week or a couple episodes a week, and they're good and they tie into the MCU. They feed in, Ms. Marvel feeds directly into the Marvels. So they also use that to introduce the concept of mutants in the MCU for the first time, which nobody thought of. So they're using that as a feeder into the films, and people want to know what's going on in the films, and they like getting content like that on the platform. So it brings in subscribers. Okay. A one-off $90 million movie, Batgirl, especially given the state of the DCEU, when people don't know what the hell is going to happen next, if what's going to be tied to what, if it's in this continuity or that that's not bringing any money in by bringing in new subscribers to HBO Max. So you made a $90 million movie, and then you're going to spend another 40, 50 million, whatever, maybe to promote it, more if they really got behind it, but probably less. Where's the return on your investment there? What money are you bringing in by making that movie? None. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So do you pay to market it and then put it on the platform and then eat that loss, or do you write it off, get some of that money back, which is better than zero, and send a message to DC fans saying, look, this sucked and we don't want to give you stuff that sucks like you've been getting for a while. This is a new regime and we're gonna change the way we do things. And that makes a lot of sense. It sucks that, people worked hard on this movie and it's not going to get seen. And I think there's probably more interest in people wanting to watch it now because they're not going to get to. I guarantee you we will see this movie at some point, but it will be leaked online with unfinished CG, unfinished visual effects and stuff like that, which won't do it any favors. But when in the digital age, nothing is like on that scale is going to get made without us being seen, without it being seen by us at some point. But again, it's going to be low quality. It's not going to do it any favors. But it is what it is. I agree. Like they're actually going to be inviting more comparisons to Marvel now that you've got Kevin Feige's mentor in Alan Horn coming into Warner Brothers. They finally set up their own studio. And now it's like, okay, now we're not going to, the next couple of movies were from the previous regime. So it's going to be like probably 3 years before we see a new piece of content under this current management and see what they do. But it is a situation where now, they flat out said, we've got like a 10-year plan, similar to what, Alan Horn had guided Kevin Feige into setting up at Marvel. So now you're going to definitely get direct comparisons between, okay, now can DC pull it off the way Marvel did? Because they're trying to follow that exact blueprint, not trying to be different. So they're going to invite some of that speculation and comparison. Hopefully they do a good job. But they have to say, okay, look, you were getting garbage before. You were telling us that it was garbage. We have faith in certain things like this Flash movie we think is really good. We want to put that out. Obviously, big budgets like Shazam 2 and Black Adam, you're going to put those in the theaters, get, a lot of money back from those. But you're going to take a new direction moving forward and really invest in that Trinity. If they're going to do it, they got to do it now because Cavill, he's, I think he's like 38, something like that. Like he's almost 40 though. So if you're going to do that, but then it's like, are we just kind of saying, all right, look, just pretend everything before didn't exist. We're starting fresh, but you're going to have a new Batman. All right. Everybody who's like, I love Ben Affleck as Batman. I really do. Okay.
It's probably my favorite Batman.
He's over 50 now. Okay. And I don't think they want to do that because they want longevity, and you're not going to have Ben Affleck play that character until he's 60. You're just not going, right? So they're going to have to everybody who, people were saying, oh, just wait, like, Discovery buying Warner Brothers, they're all about the Snyderverse. They're going to restore the Snyderverse. You wait and see. Shut the fuck up. That's not happening.
No,
they're not.
We've already seen that they've actually parted ways. Because the thing is, it's like from a business standpoint, as much as, and I say this, as much as I do love, I'm not going to front. I love the Justice League. I love what I love what Zack Snyder did with this latest iteration. I can watch it and I can see that, there is, they kind of righted the wrongs of what Josh Whedon did with the first iteration. You know what I mean? They went back, retool things. He told the story that he wanted to tell, and I think he got that out. But I just think that, like, you know, in Zaslav's defense, do you want to actually bring that tainted legacy in
Absolutely
to a
not.
new regime?
Absolutely
No,
not.
because
I enjoyed the Snyder cut, and I
yeah,
enjoyed what Zack Snyder did. But you can't say we're going to make a 10-year plan and we're going to start completely fresh and we're going to do something the way it should have been done from the jump, but then go back and keep retooling stuff that they didn't do well with the first time. You got to start fresh. Like, it's just it's not going to happen. And so I do think we're going to see a new Batman soon too, because it's there. I don't see them putting the Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves Batman into
separate universes
with like Henry Cavill. That's not to say that there won't be a Superman at some point, in that kind of thing, but I don't think there will be, just because I think they're going to keep going with certain things like Joker, and the recently announced Joker 2 sequel. They're going to be going with things like that, and with the Pattinson Batman, just like with Nolan, right? As they're kind of like Elseworld one-shots or like contained trilogies or something like that. And they're going to do a larger connected universe. And I'm fine with that, because I read one-shots and I read, graphic novels and main continuity and stuff all the time in comics. I can do it with TV and film too. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, that's what they're going to do. As much as I would have liked to see the Snyder universe finished, it is finished, just not, it's finished. They're not gonna screw with that anymore, because
it's finished in the sense of it's
they need to move on. It just doesn't.
They
make
need
sense
to move on from it. And the thing is, it's like, even though, like, ending the film the way they did, created opportunities for us to see that possible universe expand. I just, again, like, I mean, everybody knows I'm a super duper Wonder Woman fan. I love Wonder Woman as a character. I mean, especially in the comics, her iteration, I will always have been. But there needs to be a different story told. They need to kind of move on from that. And on top of that, they need to treat the character right. It was a dumpster fire with 1984. They need to kind of retool and bring her back to what we know or where we know she should be. As same as, Superman. Man of Steel was an incredible film. We know that. And we know the potential that Henry Cavill has to bringing that character to life and giving it some substance and relevance. He's a passionate person about that role, and we need to see more of that. I love, like you said, I love Ben Affleck. We could probably get like a few films out of him when it comes to it. But I mean, if we're thinking long-term longevity, they're going to probably have to retool some things. And I know a lot of people, and I'm saying that because, like, bro, I love Ben Affleck's rendition of Bruce and the Batman. You know what I mean?
I think he was perfect in both.
He was perfect in both. He gave an element and a gravitas in that I loved. But at the same time, I do understand, that right now things have to kind of change up. And I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I know there was a few people talking about this earlier in the chat about the Blue Beetle film. I'm glad that they're going to continue with that. I'm glad that they're not going to actually just dump that film off. And supposedly right now, Zaslav likes it. He enjoys that film.
I think they had time too with that, where they could say, hey, we want to do this. I think some of the things that have been going on that side aren't the best. So let's take a beat and let's figure out what we're doing with it, but we're still going to do it. So they have the time on that. And Blue Beetle is a character that is worth them doing. It was, so it's a different situation than Wonder Twins, whereas Wonder Twins, like, why the fuck are you doing that in the first place? That like, don't do that. So, so Blue Beetle is a different situation. And I still think that Blue Beetle is on a much more firm footing than, than something like Batgirl or Wonder Twins.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, is it's something that, again, we talk about, like, the biggest thing for me is always and always will be is representation. And we do see it in this film. And the thing is, it's like, I don't want people to think, because I did see this and I want to put that to bed too. Like, oh, well, they got rid of Leslie Grace because of representation. No, that had nothing to do with it. Like, representation has nothing to do with a bad film. And I'm just saying that, like, if the film is not great, I don't care. If anything, I would want you to scrap the film, because I don't want that representation to be tainted. And because she deserves a good movie, bro.
Also,
she deserves a great movie.
Let's just remember one thing, though. Like, and this is all I am going to touch on, the most annoying goddamn word in the English language right now, which is woke. Okay?
Yes, bro.
I'm going to say this, and then that's it. Okay? Warner Brothers has... I don't know if Warner Brothers DC films have ever been accused of being woke. Okay? People criticize Marvel, for that stuff. Like, there were no, to my recollection, major, gender, race, sexual orientation changes in DCEU content. They didn't, Cyborg didn't used to be white and they made him black for the Snyderverse, or, stuff like that. So this, like, oh yeah, well, we don't want this woke propaganda films. And that's why, bye-bye, Leslie Grace and Batgirl and stuff. No. Okay. Because one, they've never been accused of being woke. I think maybe the Leslie Grace casting was the first one. I guarantee you, David Zaslav, Alex Horn, they're not coming in and be like, oh yeah, we're being too woke and people don't like that on this one movie, so we're gonna eat the $90 million.
Yeah.
No, get your head out of your ass. That is not a thing. Okay, like woke propaganda, whatever words you want to use to try and kind of hide your sexism, racism, misogyny, whatever that might be. It had absolutely nothing to do with that. So if you're going to argue against stuff, come up with a better argument.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, like, again, if you're going to use the word woke, which literally, bro, I hate the word. I hate it.
I can't stand it.
I hate the usage of it. And it's a scapegoat for people that actually have a false argument. Like, literally,
I don't even want to say I woke up
really
this
support it.
Because the word
I
pisses me
can't
off now.
stand it. I can't stand the word woke. The thing is, representation is strong, and we are living in the now. We are living in the present. We're not living in the past.
Also, representation is the strongest it's been. It could be a hell of a lot stronger. So let's stop complaining about what it is right now.
Yes.
Because the vast majority of characters that we see on the screen are white, straight superheroes, male, mostly male, some female. Like, come on. I'm not suffering because I don't see enough representation of myself on the big screen these days. So, like, let's all fucking relax with that.
Yes. And the thing is, it's like, bro, again, I want, and I don't basically mind, I want a Latino Supergirl. I do. And I want her to play that role because,
and
bro,
she's a Boston native, baby.
Boston native. And the thing is, what was so dope about
she's so talented too.
She's talented, but what was dope about it was the phone. Bro, I remember me and Toya were in New York City. We were on like a little vacation. We went away for the weekend. I took her around, like, out for a birthday. And bro, when they made the announcement that she was going to it was online when they made the announcement that she was going to be Supergirl in the Flash. And they showed, like, it was that video of her getting the call.
Was so excited.
She was so excited and emotional, you know what I mean? And I was right there with her, bro, because I was like, yo, this is gonna be so dope to really see it. Like, I would love to basically see that version of her. And mind you, that version of her exists in the comics.
Yep.
And people have to understand that.
Just like when people were complaining about Michael B. Jordan potentially doing a Superman movie. The version of Superman that he was going to play exists in the comics in another universe. It was like people like just like relax. That's like complaining because they decided to make a Flashpoint Batman with Thomas Wayne as it exists in the comics continuity, like chill. But also, that girl, one, I loved the design. Okay, the look. She looked so. Now we didn't see any clips yet of her in the film, but she looks phenomenal in the Flash film. And this girl is crazy talented. Go to her Instagram. So this girl can sing. Like, I want to see her in a musical. Like, she is. I'm telling you, man, this girl is gifted, and I really, really do want to see. And I do hope that even if she's not going to get a solo movie right away, with everything going on right now, and they're saying she won't, I do want to see how she does with this role in The Flash. I'm very optimistic. And if she's good and all things, I mean, Warner Brothers seems very optimistic about this movie and her role in it, then I would love to see her in future DC movies, whether it's a solo, whether it's in like a Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill, something like that. But yeah, I like she looks so damn good in the role.
Yeah, she looks great in the role. The costume looks good, in my opinion. And I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to see the iteration. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm glad that they didn't scrap the Flash film, because like I said, these are opportunities for other actors. I mean, it's not just about one person. It was other actors that were in that film. Michael Keaton was in that film. She was in that film. Ben Affleck was in that film. You know what I mean? So, and whoever else is like, that's the thing, is like the cast and crew, everybody else, you can't just fault them for the mistake of one individual. So that's why I'm glad that they're still going to actually show that film. Now, the thing is, we also got the conversation. Well, look what Ezra Miller did, yet they did not cancel this film, but they canceled Supergirl again. I mean, Batgirl again. Two totally different scenarios. You have one film that, even though their lead actor was acting like a dickhead, and we know this, but again, we know this off of hearsay, but there's two sides to every story, and his side really hasn't been told yet. We just know off of what we see in the media. And also there's some crazy shit that this dude is doing. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, that hasn't been brought to the forefront where we really know what's going on. And I want to know what's going on, because I'm like, yo, dude, you were basically throwing away your career, number one, and there's other people that were involved in the IP. But again, two different scenarios. A film that was good, you just had a dickhead lead actor. A film that was
we
bad,
also have Alan Horn, Kevin Feige's mentor, coming in and being part of the decision that, oh wait, this Batgirl, no, it's bad. Like, we can't.
It's not
like,
where we're going.
Alan Horn. If it was somebody else, if it was just a bunch of other shoots, but if it's him in the room saying this movie is not good enough to put out, then I lean toward believing him. Yeah. And that's, but the other thing too is this Flash movie, in addition to them just feeling like it's a great movie and that it'll be big for them and they want to put it out, we also don't know exactly what happens in this movie and how it resets the DCEU or gives them the chance to do the reset that they want to do moving forward now. Right. So maybe this Flash movie is significant to establishing a multiverse for them where they can then go off and do that reset because they've laid the groundwork for it with this film, and they've introduced new actors in new roles that they have a lot of confidence in, like her as Supergirl, bringing in Michael Keaton and, as an older Batman, things like that. So, again, it sucks when we don't get to see and judge for ourselves. That being said, I do lean toward if we did get to see and judge for ourselves, we would judge it harshly, and probably a lot of people would be like, Warner Bros., what the hell were you thinking?
Like, what was going on? Like, why was it that you made this decision?
Yeah, because here's the thing: if they had the same confidence in this Batgirl movie that they did in The Flash, then they wouldn't scrap it. They would change it from a streaming release to a theatrical release. And a lot of people were saying, oh, they were thinking about, I guarantee you, they were not thinking about putting this movie in the theaters. If they were willing to just completely scrap this, there was never a discussion that, oh, this is good enough, maybe we should think about putting it in the theaters. The discussions internally at Warner Brothers was probably, why the fuck were we making this for streaming in the first place? We should have, with this kind of budget, should have made a better movie and had the plan from the start to put it in the theaters. And it was more a discussion of, why didn't we do that from the jump? Not, oh, maybe we should put it. They don't go from, oh, maybe we should put this in the theaters instead of streaming, to, oh, we're just going to shit can this movie entirely. That doesn't happen.
Yeah,
okay?
Nah.
It just doesn't.
Yeah, that's the thing. And again, like I said, because of, other actors who are actually involved, those are things that they have to think about. They have to think about, if they've actually shown this film, and basically from the screening, everybody has said that this film is really, really good. They said it's really good. Like they said, basically, like there is it in once people see. And here was the thing. This is the one statement that lets me know that Ezra Miller will not be the Flash going forward after this film. The statement that was made by Zaslav was, yes, we see potential in this film, and it's a great film, and we can make it better. Which means to me, like, yo, we may not know, but they might put money into shooting certain scenes at the end of this movie, or even like a post-credit scene or something that completely phase Ezra Miller out of this film.
Which might be why they're waiting a year to put this thing out.
Exactly.
It might be like, okay, we're gonna, maybe they're working out contracts, gonna add in a couple reshoots that like, you know, change the ending of this movie, bring in maybe Michael Keaton for another scene or something, and you know, so yes, I absolutely think that that's possible.
Yeah,
man, people love him. I think he's done a great job for 8 years already.
Yeah,
bring in Grant Gustin.
Well, see, that's what everybody was talking about, but it's the thing that, okay, we know Grant Gustin as, you know, the CW Flash. We've watched his journey. We know that he was a great Barry Allen.
Yeah, not a lot of there will definitely be people who aren't familiar with it.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of people heard about Ezra Miller's cameo in the Crisis crossover that they did on the CW, where it established that they're part of a multiverse, and he and Grant Gustin were on that, you know, in that scene together. So I think a lot of people became aware of it that weren't watching the show because of that. But here's the thing. I think that he's done such a good job with that role that I think if they brought him in as an alternate, you know, Barry Allen in this kind of reboot of the DCEU, I think your general movie-going audience would gravitate toward and like Grant Gustin in that role. I really, really do.
Yeah, I think they would actually appreciate it.
I like what Ezra Miller has done on film, but I don't think he's like this phenomenal actor that you can't have anybody else play the role. And I think Grant Gustin could step in and do just as good, if not a better job. And it's not like, you know, Ezra Miller is like so much bigger and bulkier than, like, he's probably about the same size as Grant Gustin too. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be cool if they brought him in, or if maybe it's just a complete recast. Who knows, of somebody else that hasn't played the role before. But yeah, I don't see Ezra Miller playing this role past this film. I don't think.
Yeah, no.
David Zaslav doesn't suffer fools. I don't think he's going to deal with Ezra Miller anymore. So how this resets things, I don't know. But they're saying all the right things, as you know, as far as what we've wanted from DC, what we've wanted from the films. Now it's a question of
execution.
Of can they pull it off? Can they do it well? Will
we
they
need
be able
the
to bring in, because and Rob, you know, Robert Meyer Burnett has said it a bunch, and I agree. There is no DC Kevin Feige out there right now who came up and had that 14 films of some really good successes and some really bad failures, while you're a creative person learning the filmmaking, like the business production side of the equation, and coming up and learning what works and what doesn't before you then launch the MCU, right? They don't have somebody with that pedigree. Could somebody emerge and develop that? Yes, but there isn't somebody out there right now, at least that any of us are aware of. So,
that can basically fill those shoes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
because
it's like somebody could come in and do a good job, but there is no just, okay, well, you've got a Kevin Feige. You have somebody who maybe could turn into Kevin Feige, but you don't have him yet. So it's still a matter of who they bring. And again, I agree with Rob and, you know, and like John Campia and stuff, who have said, like, if anybody is going to find that person, it's Alan Horn.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be excited about, but we also have to just kind of wait and see how things unfold, see what decisions they're making as far as who they're bringing in, filmmakers, producers, actors, what announcements we get. And then as we get closer, what stories they're looking to tackle, you know, the slate, make sure that they're not trying to rush things like was done with the DCEU to start. So we have to exercise some patience here. But largely, I am very positive about a lot of what I'm hearing on the DC film side. That being said, and it was I had put up a Facebook post, which I probably shouldn't have done, in some groups.
Yeah.
Quoting Lee Bermejo, a great world-renowned comic book artist, who posed the question: if Warner Brothers, if a studio is willing to just completely axe a $90 million movie that's been made, right? They still have to finish post-production, but it's been shot. What's to stop a parent company like that from gutting a comics publisher, and that is a fair question, and that is the only really negative that I see potentially. By no means is it a guarantee,
but it potentially could. Real quick though, let me actually address. We got a 1999 super chat by my man, my mellow figure focus Shane. He said, because I appreciate you both. P.S. Brendan, I will get my comic book reading homework you assigned me done and report back to you, master.
He's a good Padawan.
Hell yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Thanks for Shane. Thank you for being here. My guy who just reached last week, he released 1,000 subscribers, basically on his way to 2,000. Let's go, man. That's what I'm talking about. All day, every day. My guy, Shane. We'll be back here tomorrow for Collectors Lounge International with my guy, man, as always. So thank you for being here, man. But yes, bro, like what you said is true.
So that's the thing, because what if, and again, I'm by no means saying this is going to happen. I'm asking the question because I'm curious, and this is something that we're just going to have to see play out over time. But what if a studio decides, who owns a comic book publisher, decides, hey, we don't see those, all of these other books you're doing over here outside of the main, like 10 that, like Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and stuff like that. These other books, like maybe if they did it to like a Blue Beetle or something like that, but people would be like, those aren't going to translate to film, and they're not going to make us billions of dollars on this side of the business. So we want you to put less creative effort and financial resources into publishing those books, and we want you to focus on these characters.
Mm-hmm.
That is scary. I don't want the film side of the business, the parent company, the corporate parent company, to start dictating where the creative endeavors can go on the comic book side.
That's definitely scary.
People were saying,
to be in.
And when I posted something, when you post stuff like this, you see a stark reality here. You see a really that there is definitely a very big separation between collectors and comic book fans, comic book heads. Now, there are people who are both, like we are, and there are a lot of people in the chat who are both. But there are a lot of people out there who only know the MCU, who only know the DCEU, who've never read a comic book a day in their life, and they are they think that they're experts on everything because they watch the movies and TV shows, when they've never read these comics, don't know the decades, the 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years worth of history here, and realize that, it's like somebody was just like, oh, well, comics are never going anywhere. They'll be around forever. They're never going to eliminate an entire genre. The genre, I don't think, is going to go away. But publishers, absolutely, there are plenty of great indie publishers back in the day that are with us no longer. All right.
Yeah.
And people forget, and this shows again how few people in the collecting community are actually up on their comics and comic book history. All right. In the late 90s, the only reason why Marvel Comics did not disappear was because they sold the film rights to Spider-Man to Sony, and they sold the film rights for the X-Men to Fox. That was the only thing that kept them afloat.
Sold it, basically. They sold the rights to Incredible Hulk and Submariner to Universal.
Yes, they
did.
That's
they
were
saying.
Going bankrupt in the late 90s, and they were literally about to cease to exist. And the only reason why they are here today is because they sold those. So when people, criticize, them for why were you idiots and sold off your Marvel, your Sony to Sony, your Spider-Man rights or X-Men they weren't stupid. That was the only thing they could do to not die. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there is vulnerability here. And now people would say, oh, well, Disney didn't do that, so Warner Brothers isn't going to do that. Well, we've seen Warner Brothers make a lot of stupid decisions that Disney has not made, okay? Disney didn't tell Marvel, stop doing this or that because that's not making us money. They've done well, and I appreciate that. Because if Disney had said that, we wouldn't have a Guardians of the Galaxy. Or Guardians 2 or Guardians 3 coming up or the Christmas, the holiday spot. We wouldn't have those films. You think, if Disney had said that to Marvel, you think we would have gotten a Ms. Marvel show or a Moon Knight show? Like, no, we wouldn't have that. And so that's a real concern that if Warner Brothers Discovery does that at some point, then it could negatively impact the comic book side. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying the door is open for it, to the point where legitimate icons in the comic book industry, like Lee Bermejo, are asking that same question. Okay? This isn't just me pulling it out of my ass, as fine an ass as it is. They are asking that question. Okay? So it's legitimate. You can't just write it off, especially if you've never read a comic book a day in your life. So
this comment right here.
Yeah, but I also agree that Gal Gadot has some good booty cheeks too. So
man, Gal Gadot is not responsible for a film that was horrible. She is still my Wonder Woman.
She's great, and
she's great in it. And
look, not every movie is going to be a home. Not every movie is going to be a home run, and we've had some misses with Marvel. I think you think 1984 was booty cheeks. I think Thor: Love and Thunder was what comes out of booty cheeks.
Yes, true.
Okay, so not everything is a big hit, right?
Kate Carter, you made my day, bro. Yeah, Kate Carter, 250, you made my day, bro.
So we do have to recognize that's a possibility, and the good that is happening on the film side could negatively translate to comics. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying it's something that we should be aware of and we should be cautious of. And if you know your comic book history, then the potential exists, and that's what I wanted to discuss. I wanted to, see what other people thought about that. And of course, it's Facebook, so it's predominantly assholes. And everybody was then people would go into, they cancel it because it's woke and stuff, the movie. And it's like people were going into like why Warner Brothers was canceling the Batgirl movie and stuff like that. And I said, like, look, whether you agree or disagree with that, whether you like what they did or don't like what they did, that was not the discussion that I was bringing up. The question was, that is a reality, whether it's good or bad, whether you like it or not. Does that or can that affect the comic side of the business, which is the source material for everything that we all enjoy or sometimes don't on the screen, but people just kind of ignored the main topic I brought up and just went to their kind of, because it's woke or, because it sucks. And then like said that I wasn't allowing other people to have like different opinions. I was like, you can have whatever opinion you want. I don't care about that. But I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about this. Not to mention people who were like screaming. Like, I will flat out say, I don't think that this movie was probably going to be very good because I trust people like Alan Horn. And if the studio is saying this is so bad, we can't put it out, when they'll put a lot of bad stuff out to make a buck, then that makes me think that it was pretty bad. But I'm not going to come out and say it was bad because I haven't seen it. I can't say that, right?
I definitely agree.
The people that worked on it.
Yeah,
I want to respect the people that work on it.
Jonathan, I do agree with you, man. People confuse woke with bad writing, plain and simple. Like, there's a separation between the two, man. Definitely it is. Shout out to my man, Pop Culture Living Room, my guy, man. Thank you for being here, bro, and tuning in. What do you think now, before because like I said, we're going to wind down here shortly, but what do you think about, now here's another thing I wanted to kind of bring up and I wanted to touch on, because this was also announced that they are actually going full steam ahead with this. And yes, it is happening and it is going to be a musical. from what they're basically saying. Lady Gaga will be the iteration of Harley Quinn in this film. And here's the thing, like, strangely as it sounds, bro, I kind of trust Todd Phillips. I trust the vision
100%.
and where he's going with it. Come on, bro. $1 billion franchise, number one. And on top of that, it's lead actor. This was nominated. It got an Academy Award nomination. And on top of that, you had an Academy Award winning actor who won. So I kind of trust Todd Phillips' vision here. And I think that, people kind of need to pump when they say musical, I think it's going to be a zany way to show what's going on inside their head and how they see the world. And I want to see how that's going to play out. But what do you think about it, bro?
Man, I've seen so many negative reactions. People I know that are like, "Are you kidding me? A fucking musical?"
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Dude. First of all, I love announcements like this because it's creative. We're going to do something different. We want to do something that's going to shock people. We want to do something that people are going to talk about. That's going to be now. It's a risk, yes. Okay. And with the risk, it could go sideways, right? Yep. It could go bad or it could be great. But if you don't take risks, you're never going to get something great. Okay. If you don't take a risk on an actor like Heath Ledger taking over an iconic role like the Joker, you don't get that Dark Knight movie.
True.
All right.
True.
Because he made that movie. Todd Phillips is a great writer, is a great director. Lawrence Sher, phenomenal DP. He shot the first one. I'm pretty sure he's back on this as well. And you've got Lady Gaga in there, which I'm not like a big Lady Gaga fan. I don't dislike her. I'm just she's not in general not for me. But like I think she could do really well in this role. And again, remember, this is like an Elseworld story, right? This isn't main continuity Joker. This is they're trying something different. And if it's for you, cool. If it's not, but you liked the first one, then you still have the first one. Or if you don't like it at all, then just ignore it because we're going to get another Joker at some point. We're going to always be having this character. There have been actually, now you're reading it, so it's not like, but there have been musical comic books with the Joker, where he's actually singing. Now you're reading it on. Obviously, you're not hearing it.
You're seeing it through his perception. It's basically and
he's like dancing, and he's like, because he's fucking crazy. All right,
he's batshit crazy.
We also don't know exactly now. I don't speak French well. My wife is fluent in it. I don't speak French well. So I'm just going to call this movie Joker 2 because I'm not even trying to pronounce that. And I think most people won't. Most people probably won't be able to. But we also, everybody's jumping the gun thinking this is going to be, West Side Story or something, which first of all, if you've never seen the West Side Story, the original and even the students book, they're great. Okay. Musicals can be great. Okay. If you've never watch the Phantom of the Opera. That is phenomenal. Okay.
Yeah.
So this could be good, but we also don't know when they say it's a musical. It's like, okay, how many musical numbers are there? Are they almost like dream sequences or something like that he's like seeing in his head, but it's not like pervasive throughout the whole film where it's just musical number. This isn't going to be fucking Frozen. Okay. This isn't going to be like, Let It Go. All right. So let's give filmmakers a chance to try something different and see if they shock us with something that's really special and that we like. Judging this right off the bat before we have seen or heard anything is silly for me. To me, I get excited when they're trying different stuff. And remember, this wasn't announced under the previous regime. This was announced for people that are after the merger, after the acquisition by Discovery, and people like David Zaslav and Alan Horn are on board with this. Yeah. So I think that this is, I'm all for it. I think it's
all about the pitch. It's all about the pitch. It's about the pitch. And the thing is, when we were pitched this film in the very beginning, when people found out about this film in the very beginning, And I have to admit myself, I was like, what the fuck is this, man? Like, even seeing some of the set photos, but then when I saw it, I was like, okay. And watching the film, I was like, oh, whoa,
Joker
okay,
was great. And
okay,
yeah, and
okay.
and
I get
I
it now. I
loved
get
that
it now.
movie. To me,
Yeah,
here's the thing. To me, that is not like my vision of the Joker. Okay. But
yeah,
I really enjoyed the
yeah,
film. And I
yeah,
can enjoy that and be like, okay, that was really entertaining. That was a very well-made movie. It's not my personal, like, if I'm gonna think of the Joker, that's the version that I think of. But I
yeah,
like the fact that there are different ones. There are a lot of different takes on the Joker in the
yeah,
comic books.
yeah,
All right. From the stuff that, you've got um Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo made their like graphic novel called The Joker, right? You've
yeah,
got all these other different these iterations of it. Chip Zdarsky is doing the Batman books right now. We're going to see his take on the Joker. We've had the Tom King. There's like all these other writers and artists who've given different interpretations. You've got a different version of the Joker in the Arkham games,
yeah,
right? Okay, we've got Jack Nicholson, we've got Heath Ledger, we've got so not every iteration of the character has to be like your favorite. Okay,
yeah,
just because they make this one and that's not like your personal favorite version of the Joker doesn't mean they
yeah,
should stop iterating and stop creating and trying to make different versions of the characters, because they exist in the books. And if they exist in the books and I can be like, I really like Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo's take on the Joker, that's the
yeah,
one that I'm gonna like focus. That's the one that if I've got a choice between two comic books, I'm going to theirs first.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
why can't it be the same in movies? Give this a chance. There are
Just give it a
talented
chance to
people
flesh
behind
out.
this.
Yeah,
And here's
yeah,
the thing: if you think that David Zaslav is going to come in and be like, well, one of the only things that the previous regime did right was make that Joker movie, and it made us $1 billion fucking dollars. If you don't think that he's going to try and shepherd this and make sure that they do something really special with this one, and that he has no intention of letting this one be a
exactly,
flop, then you're crazy.
exactly.
So if he's got confidence in this, give it a chance.
Give it a chance and let it play out. And that's the thing. What I'm impressed about, really, really super impressed about, is the simple fact that he's saying, and the one thing that he actually said that stuck with me when he was like, we are going to take our time. We are going to literally take our time and make great films. We're not going to rush. We're not going to just throw them out there to fulfill a slate or a release date. We're going to take our
get
time,
it done in a certain amount of time, so we can get our quarterly or annual bonuses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that. We're going to take our time to get these films done. And that's what I like about it. And I do trust the vision. I trust the vision of Todd Phillips because, again, I've liked the rendition that he actually gave us. Again, somebody mentioned Jeff Johns' Three Jokers. Yes, that was incredible. You know what I mean? So again, like you have to kind of, and before we get to put, we're trigger happy people, bro. We're quick to jump to like conclusions without really understanding the vision of where a person,
and a lot of
where
times
they can
when
take
we
it.
do that, we forget comic book history or cinema history. Like perfect CT603 even said 89 Batman was almost a musical.
Almost a musical.
Think about that.
And that came from the mouth
sequence in the
exactly.
theater.
Exactly.
What if this is stuff like that, where like the Joker was fucking crazy, and they've got the boombox and he's painting and the music is playing. What if it's like scenes like that where Harley Quinn is played by Lady Gaga and she happens to just be a really good singer, and there's like a musical kind of number that's ingrained into what is actually happening in the plot, and it's done in a way that's more just showing how crazy the character is.
Yeah.
Not like trying to make it like a Moana movie or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, which I actually enjoy Moana. I watch it with my kids all the time.
Think,
but you know what I mean? Like, let's wait and see because genres change all the time. They're saying musical. Let's wait and see what the musical elements are. I guarantee you this is going to surprise people, whether they like it or not.
Hell yeah.
Just give it a chance.
Give it a chance.
We've got plenty of other
out.
stuff to watch in the interim. So let's pump the brakes on all the prejudgment, and let's maybe just focus on what we can be excited about rather than automatically assuming what's going to disappoint us.
Definitely, man. Yeah, and I agree. I agree. We need to basically just sit back, pump the brakes. We're going to actually see, and I want to kind of close this out by just mainly saying that, look, I think that right now DC is in good hands. It's in good hands.
The best they've been in.
Especially that one of the biggest announcements for me is when they made the announcement that, anytime you can bring Alan Horn back out of retirement for the third time, you know what I mean? To kind of help steer the ship the right way.
75?
Exactly. And you got to understand that Kevin Feige has already gone on record by saying like his career wouldn't be where it was. He idolizes Alan Horn and basically what he's done and how he's helped to. So this is, look, it's in good hands. And I like the simple fact that they are saying that Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman are the three key characters that the focus is going to be on. They will be those characters, and Superman mainly will be the character that's going to usher in, and they feel as though that the attention needs to be on.
It's insane that they even had to come out and say that. Like that wasn't what they were doing beforehand. That the new regime had to say.
The new regime had to actually come in and say this. So anyway, guys, tell me what y'all think about this show. Should we do it like maybe once or twice a month? If you like it, if you like how we come on and do these impromptu discussions about it and kind of just break it down for y'all, so pretty much to understand and warm y'all up for what's to come. Let me know. Don't forget, on your way out, hit the like button, subscribe, share to everybody else. Again, the Naked Truth is something that you're going to see around more often than any. We're going to get together and have these discussions. There's a couple more things that are probably filtered down the pipeline that we'll talk about. So let us know what you think. Let us know how you feel about it, man. It's been an awesome hour discussion here. I'm going to go up here and take my ass up here and get something to eat. We got another $19 super chat by my man, Jonathan King. This was a great and productive conversation, bro. Thank you so much. That's why I brought Butt Naked on, because Butt Naked is the one who inspired The Naked Truth, the show itself. That's why it's called The Naked Truth by Butt Naked himself. So anyway, yes, man, like we're going to be doing this more often than any. I mean, because like I said, it's a good way to kind of come in and just kind of break it down, man. Like just have like a really serious discussion so people can kind of understand that we're passionate about these things just like you are, but you have to see it from a different vantage point. I mean, you have to really understand why things are done this way and why some decisions, even though they're harsh, are the best decisions to see things going forward. You got to cut your losses in order to see something great and to see the success that you want going down the road. And I think this is what we're going to actually see from DC going on. Brendan, what you got going on the rest of the weekend, bro? Well, I know tomorrow you'll be with us, but
tomorrow
again, at Collectors
comic
Lounge.
book talk with friends.
Then, yeah.
Oh no, yeah. Monday is comic book talk with friends. Tomorrow,
Collectors Lounge
International, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm actually gonna take a little mini vacation with my wife and kids down to Newport, which is Newport, Rhode Island, which is a great kind of ocean town, like be on the water. Gonna go out on some boats, get some great seafood as a little celebration for 40 turns around the sun.
Yeah.
So gonna be doing that, and then just a couple days later, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you guys, would like to see it, maybe, let Lael know, and maybe an Instagram live or two from the con floor at Fan Expo Boston from the two of us, because, he should make his way up here for Fan Expo Boston. Just saying. Mm-hmm. So we could maybe do something like that. So I don't know.
All right, man. So thanks for that, man. Thanks everybody for basically being here. Thanks for Kate Carter, man. Kate Carter, thanks for making my afternoon with the booty cheeks reference, bro. Shit was funny as hell. Everybody out there in the chat who actually tuned in, man. Thank you guys for being here. We'll probably be doing this. We'll definitely be doing this more often than many. If you haven't already, subscribe to the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube channel, man. Best. And we are actually almost, I think, 90 something away, or I think 80 or 90 something away from 3,000 subscribers. So basically make sure that you share this with everybody else. We're out to hit that milestone. But again, man, like literally, thank you guys for being here. Great topics, great show. Again, have a nice weekend. This is the Butt Naked Truth. We thank you guys for basically being here and being a part of it. Can't wait to see you again. We are out. Peace.